Okay, this is the survival guide that you will be turning in. If you were on A day, I changed the due date to turn in as an exit ticket on Friday. If you are on B day, then I changed it to turn in on an exit or with an exit ticket on Monday. So what you're going to do is I want you to read the task overview. Okay? During the task, you will write a program about a topic entirely of your choosing. All right, so this project is your AP project that you have to create an app. Okay, you have to have a PDF of your program code, you have to have a video of your program code, and then you have to have four written responses: 3A, B, C, and D. Now, read this to kind of get an idea of what the guidelines are. Then, as you move through this, I want you to read these things. What is required of my program? The input and output requirements. So this is the video of your program and responses to 3A, as it says in this first line here. Then your list requirements, because you have to create a list. This is the response 3B. Then in the next section, you have to do a function requirement. You have to create your own function. Yes, you can use functions that were created by code.org, okay, or from someone else. But what you talk about and what you write about are the functions that you created or the function that you create to help manage your programming, okay? Make sure you read, like this part here says selection means that a conditional or if statement selects between two or more portions of your program to run. Iteration simply means repeating some behavior. So make sure you understand the vocabulary behind your intention. And then finally, the acknowledgement requirements. You have, if you decide to use someone else's code to help with your code, then you need to cite any of that. You make sure you cite the any code, images, sounds, etc., so that you don't get zeros for plagiarism. Okay. Then this is the section that I want you to do. You're basically going to grade. You're going to grade an example. So, and the two rows that we're going to concentrate on are row 4 and row 5. Okay, so make sure you read the criteria. Make sure you read the decision rules on how to award a point or how not to award a point, and then scoring notes. Okay, these are ideas that kind of help further the decision rules. Do the same thing for row 5. So when we get down to this section, you are the AP reader. You are the AP reader trying to determine if they get the point for rows 4 and 5. Assume each function below was submitted. For each, select whether rows 4 or 5 should be awarded and why. No need for detailed explanations. Arrow to the code or short bullets are fine. So you don't have to give me, there's not a lot of space. So bullet statements are fine. You know, one word, not one word, but, 2, 3 words, just to kind of get an idea of what the gist of what you're talking about. So you have example 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I want you to move on to the function requirements. All right, this is for response 3D, and it asks you to describe two different calls to the same function with different arguments that cause the function to run differently. For this activity, you should, and then you write out two different calls, okay? Find max and find max. Notice that they have two different arguments. Describe the specific line of code. This is on line 1. This function finds the maximum value in a list and returns it. So call 1, call 2. So all of this is together, 1 through 9. Okay, 1 through 9. So here, return max, variable max. So basically, which conditions run differently. And then you're just going to keep on going down the line till you have completed this. If you are confused about it, then annotate that. Mark that here, but I still want you to try and come up with an idea or a solution for this. And there's no right or wrong. There are right answers, but you're not going to be penalized for wrong answers. I just want you to attempt it. Okay? Now, down here, you're going to narrow it down. Now, this is practice for when you pair up with somebody. Why narrow it down? You should assume that you're not going to have enough time to complete the perfect project. Okay, so you need to narrow it down means taking a larger idea and finding the smallest version of it. Identify your function and list early. Pick one part of a bigger idea and then minimal design mode. Looks don't matter. Okay, it's the functionality that matters. They're not gonna look at your code and run it. So your video should display how it runs. So here's 3 ideas. Project 1 is tic-tac-toe. Okay, and the next one deals with health app and then a sports app. Now, with this right here, you're going to, below are 3 descriptions of potential projects. You're going to write 2 or 3 ways that you could narrow the project using the tips above, and then opportunities to write an algorithm in their project, even after it's been narrowed down. So you come up with those 2 ideas. Because what's going to happen is when you write these in, just use your imagination. What could, how could you narrow it down, and what algorithms could you come up with? Now, choosing an idea. So once you have done that, you're going to choose an idea. Make sure you read this. Now, for yourself, for your project idea, tell me the purpose. Give me a way to narrow this idea down, some opportunities, list opportunities, and function opportunities. And let me know, do you have the skills to make this project? When you are paired with your partner on the next class, your partner is going to do this. They're going to look at this information here, and then they're going to give you feedback based on that is very similar to this, how to narrow it down and algorithm opportunities. Okay? Then you're going to have 2 of these. All right? This section right here, I'm not too worried about. This is basically, go ahead and fill this out as best you can as a preliminary, as a rough draft. You haven't completed your program, you haven't written your program, you haven't even done your video. So there's no way for you to do all of this. But just write down some notes on what you intend to do or what it could be like. And then that will be a good start. Then here's a suggested timeline. Okay. I have already created a timeline on when things are due, but you can, for a personal timeline, you could use this. And that's pretty much it.